Hello, everyone. Yes, I am back after probably over a week of a hiatus. I'm finally back. I'd like to do a playoff recap and a bit of like an off-season preview type of video just to kind of wrap up these playoffs. Obviously, we have our Stanley Cup champion Detroit Red Wings, my former team. They finished it out. They won the Stanley Cup in 6 games. I think someone might have predicted that. I'm not too sure. Anyway, so congratulations to them, and also congratulations to the Utica Comets for defeating the Grand Rapids Griffins in the Calder Cup final as well. So congrats to those teams. So now with that, we are now in the off season and lots to discuss. So before we get into the off season stuff, I want to take a look briefly at the cup finals and stuff like that. So if you are not interested in that, I will have timestamps, so you can just skip ahead to when I talk about off-season stuff. But for anyone who's interested in the recap, we'll get that started. So we'll get this going. So starting out, we're just going to look at the playoff leaders here. So Gringo ended up his playoff run with 42 points in 11 games, which is unbelievable. Nearly 4 points a game. Contrix had a really nice playoff. He had 31 points in 11 games. Morpheus, he had 30 points in 12 games. He's now on Quebec. He got traded to the Nordiques. No Blood, 29 points in 10 games. So real good stuff here from these players. Let's take a look now at the games, shall we? So, like I said, this series went. What? Oh, okay. I was like, what is going? I was like, what is happening? No. So it was 6 games, yeah. So after Wednesday night, Tampa Bay was up 2-1 in the series. So they just needed to get 2 wins Thursday or Friday. And they would have been the champs. But Detroit rattled off 3 in a row Thursday night to win it all. So we'll go game by game here. So to start out game 1, a close one for Tampa Bay. They win 2-1. JD and No Blood getting 2 points. Oops. And Rucchini, he had 24 saves and 25 shots. 96 save percentage was really good. Big Cheese, he had 87 save percentage, so not his fault. Overall, just a close game, and Tampa Bay was able to scratch that one out. In game 2, Detroit tied it up. They got 3 goals. Big Cheese only gave up 1. Snake with 3 points. Joker with 3 points. So real good stuff from them. Rucchini, Detroit finally dented Rucchini. He gave up 3 goals in this game. That might be the most he's given up all playoffs so far. So Detroit able to get that done, and they tied it up in game 2. So now game 3 is always a big swing game because now you go into Thursday night either up or down a game, and Tampa Bay was able to get it done. They go up 2-1 in the series after a 4-1 win. Contrix with a 4-point night, JD with a 4-point night, and Rucchini back to his normal self, 94 save percentage, only 1 goal given up. Big Cheese, and now 84 save percentage is not bad, just not much offense from Detroit. Morpheus getting the lone goal. But then Thursday night, everything changed. Detroit winning all 3 games. Game 4, they pull out 3-2. Joker with 3 points. Snake and Heartless, 2 points. Heartless on the right wing there. Only 9 shots on goal for Tampa Bay. And so they just not much offense going from them. Bunch of 2-point performances here, but just not enough. So now the series is now again tied up 2-2. Detroit, big win in game 5, 6-3. He had 28 shots on net. Gringo with 7 of them. Crikey with 10 of them. Seattle Kraken, by the way. Gringo had 5 points in this game. Crikey with 4. And Big Cheese standing tall with only 3 goals given up on 16 shots. Rucchini just peppered this whole game. Not much he can really do. Trickster had 3 points, but just not enough. So now Tampa Bay all of a sudden finds themselves down 3-2 in the series. So they need to figure out how to just get it to Friday night, and they just couldn't get it done. And Detroit with a 4-2 victory, Snake with 4 points in Game 6. And just like that, your Detroit Red Wings are Stanley Cup champions. Rukini had a great playoff run. His numbers definitely took a hit in this series, of course, but not his fault at all. He's the main reason they even got to this point. So great season from Tampa Bay. Excellent season from Detroit. Congrats to all those guys. And so they ride off into the sunset, into the offseason as the champions. So let's take a look now at the AHL. Let's see. We'll go full skating stats. Hang on 1 second. All right, sorry about that. So Diamond Supply for Griffins, he had 69 points in 18 games. So if I do a quick math on my phone here, we'll do 69 divided by 18. That is 3.83 points per game. That's just crazy. But unfortunately, just not enough. As these three right here, the big line for Utica, 67 points, 66 points, and 60 points for Orbit Duck, Delusions, and Jordy Spams. I mean, these guys drove Utica right through the Cup final. And they're the main reason why they even got to that point. So we'll look at their schedule here. Oh, wait, this was in 6? I thought it was in 5. Oh shit! No, I guessed in 5. It wasn't 6. So apologies. I keep saying the wrong shit. My bad. People are gonna be like, "Yeah, you dumbass. We beat him in 6, not 5." Yeah. Sorry about that. I'm an idiot. Dumbass. All right. So let's just kick this off, shall we? So Game 1, Utica against Grand Rapids. Utica wins 5-3. Crikey had 3 points in this game for Grand Rapids, but these guys, this top line, they had 12 points combined between the three of them. I mean, just unreal stuff. Not much you can really do if you're Irish. Those guys are just on another level at that point. So they go up 1-0 in the series, but Griffins come back. Spritzy checks into the game, 6 points. Diamond Supply, 5 points. And hey, look at Triton, 4 points, and a hat trick for Crikey. So the Griffins had it going here. They had 25 shots, and they were making the most of their opportunities. And even though they, you see Jordy Spams have 4 and Delusions have 3 points, they were able to contain them at the best of their abilities. So that's all you can really do. So they tie the series up 1-1. And then Utica wins a real close one. This is a tough break for the Griffs. You outshoot them, you have more time on attack, and you lose by 1. That's real tough. And so they go down 2-1. Just a pretty balanced attack up and down the lineup. What happened here? I wonder if there was a lag out. That's weird. Anyway, so after Wednesday night, the Comets are up 2-1, but the Griffins tied it back up in Game 4. Crikey had 5 points. Diamond Supply had 4 points. So, again, you see Delusions, he has a 4-point night, so that's like, but again, able to contain them to the best of their ability. Utica had way more time on attack, but just not enough offense to show. The defense was not that good, giving up 8 goals in that night. So, it is what it is. So Grand Rapids came back 2-2, and then Utica just stepped on the gas, 7-1 and 11-5. And that's all she wrote. 34 shots to 9. That is brutal. And just crooked numbers for these forwards again, we've become accustomed to. Oh my God, it's a tongue twister. And then in Game 6, Grand Rapids trying to force a Game 7, and Utica puts up 11. Orbit Duck with 9 points. Delusions with 7. Jordy Spans with 6. And that's all she wrote. Crikey had 4 goals. Diamond Supply had 4 points. V-City had 3 points. Just not enough. And so Utica goes home champions. All right. So that's the playoffs. Our season 5 playoffs are now complete. So now we'll turn to the off season, which is I know what a lot of people will be more interested in. I have a few things that I want to go over regarding the off season stuff. Talk about some things, and then we'll get on out of here. So this will probably be a bit shorter video than normal, just because it is partially my fault because I realized I had not done a video for the finals, and I was traveling and I had to catch up at work, all this stuff, and I was like, well, I should probably like put a bow on this, and it's kind of good because now we have some off-season topics to talk about as well. So a lot of people can be interested in this. So we'll get out of here, and first thing I want to do is talk about the alignment for this season. So this is the first season that we're going to do divisions. We've always just done conferences because we didn't have enough teams to justify divisions. But now with the expansions and all that stuff, we are now at 20 teams. And so you'll see now on your screen, you'll see all of the teams that are going to be playing in season 6. Including all the relocations and where they came from. So, like, Quebec used to be Dallas. GB took them to Quebec, of course, the Frenchie. Swizz, who owned Anaheim, is now in Buffalo. Storm Chaser, who was in Arizona, is now in Anaheim. And then Harry, who owned New Jersey, now is in Utah. So, it's just a whole bunch of movement. It'll be confusing for like a week, and then we'll get used to it. And then one thing to note that I'm not sure everyone is fully aware of. So we decided to pretty much just liquidate San Jose. They didn't have many players left who either like quit the league or are not getting NHL 25. So we just put like the few guys that they had left, we put them back in the draft pool so they'll get new teams. And then we decided to give Bubba an expansion team, and so he is now going to take over the Calgary Flames. So if you notice, there's no San Jose, and now there's Calgary. That's why. And, of course, Vipers taking over Colorado, and I'm taking over Seattle. So, but that's been known for a little bit. But the Calgary, San Jose stuff, that is new over the last few days. So here are the divisions. So you have the North. So they're not like just like in real life. Like there's no Atlantic and there's no Pacific. To make more sense for us, you have Northeast and Northwest, because if you think about Pacific, like why is LA and Anaheim in the Central when they should be in the Pacific? You know what I mean? So it just makes more sense for us to have it like this. So in the Northeast, you have Boston, who's owned by Tim, Buffalo, again, Swizz, Hartford, who's owned by Miko, Quebec, who's GB, and then Toronto, who's still owned by Dikey. And then in the Atlantic, you have the Rangers, who are making a return in LMSHL, now owned by JJ. So he was with Nashville. He relocates them to New York. You have Philly, still owned by Paul. Pittsburgh is owned by Snow KD. Tampa Bay, who's still owned by Trickster. And Washington, who's owned by Olympio. So those are your Eastern Conference teams, 10 of them. So obviously 5 teams in each division. And now in the West, in the Central Division, you have Anaheim. Like I said, Storm Chaser took them from Arizona, now in Anaheim. Colorado, new expansion team. Vipers got them. Snake has Detroit. They're in the Central. MLN, he has LA. And my boy Walrus, he's still running Vegas. So they are in the Central. And then in the Northwest, a couple new faces here. Calgary, again, Bubba, expansion team, technically. Edmonton, who's now owned by Royal Rum. Him and Dope Duck switched. So Dope Duck's now the GM. Royal Rum is the owner. Again, I have Seattle, an expansion team. Harry now has Utah. And Shiz, who had Montreal, took them over to Vancouver. So those are your divisions. Now, we'll take a look at the AHL, because now AHL is a big difference now. So introducing in Season 6, and we now have AHL owner. So we're splitting the two organizations. So what's going to happen is that you're still under the same organization, but they're two teams ran by two owners and management teams. So you'll see like I gotta fuck this name up. BKs, sorry, buddy. He owns Providence. Mighty owns Rochester. Pickpockets owns Connecticut. That's the Hartford. Hentai owns Cornwall, which is the Quebec AHL. You'll see. So that's like the Quebec AHL team. It's a really sick logo, by the way. And Locker Room Cancer owns the Marlies. So, again, these are just the same divisions as in the NHL, just with the AHL teams. So for the Atlantic Division in the AHL, you have Hartford Wolfpack, not to be confused with the Whalers, but the Hartford Wolfpack, owned by TML Duff. Phantoms, they're owned by Action Dave. Wilkes-Barre's Penguins, they're owned by I Love Tacos. Syracuse, they got No Touches owning them, and LeBig has Hershey. So that's the Eastern Conference in the AHL. In the West, you have Cool Grandpa owning San Diego. D-Rock, he's got Colorado Eagles. Triton, he's got the Griffs. J-Mo has the Reign, and Cookie has the Henderson Silver Knights. And then finally in the Northwest, DJ Treason has the Wranglers. Tavares Snipes has Bakersfield. Kimberly Hart, he has Coachella Valley. It's Seattle's AHL. Tucson is owned by Smarty. And Poseidon owns Abbotsford, who, again, that's the Canucks. So this should be really cool. This is a great way for prospective owners to get a shot at ownership in the AHL so that they can prove themselves to own future NHL expansion down the line. Because obviously we still have 12 teams still not even in use in LMS. So I think this is going to be awesome. And so, yeah, that'll be really cool. And now, excuse me, we have the lottery. So, bit of confusion with the lottery. So this list right here, this is the actual final ownership, or not the ownership, how the lottery shook out. Now, this does not include who owns these picks, so keep that in mind. Like, I'm pretty sure, like this Pittsburgh pick, I think is owned by Detroit. This Tampa Bay pick is also owned by Detroit. I just know that because I being their GM for most of the season, I remember our trades. And I'm sure I think Storm Chaser, I was talking to him the other day. I think he said we were talking, I think 20 out of these 21 picks. So remember, San Jose is in here because their pick still counts. So if they traded their pick, the team who has it can still use it. But any San Jose owned picks that they still have get dissolved essentially. So any traded picks that they have, their owners keep it. It's not fair to them. But any picks that San Jose originally had is now gone, essentially. So Storm Chase and I were talking a couple days ago. I think he told me of the 21 of these picks, I think 16 of these have been traded. So only a few remain with their original owner. So again, this is the order of the teams, not who owns them currently. Like I still have Seattle's 9th overall for now. By the time you see this, I might not, but we'll see. So this is going to be real cool. This is the lottery. This will be the order in every single round. So like for example, Anaheim and Utah, they have the top 2 picks in the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth rounds. And then what's going to happen is that there's any players that get through the NHL draft, there'll be an AHL draft, and so that's where those owners come into play as well. They'll get to draft their teams and fill out the AHL rosters, and then we'll go from there. So some other housekeeping notes to take note of. I do have an off-season schedule in front of me, but I don't think it's finalized, so I don't want to put it out there yet. The stuff I'm about to talk about, this is all subject to change. So just bear that in mind. So with award stuff, because I've been handling all of that stuff. The awards voting has ended. That ended last night. I did put out a message in breaking news. That is now complete. So this weekend I'm going to be putting together all the stuff for that. So just keep an eye out for that, for any announcements regarding like when that reveal is. So just look out for that. I'm sure you'll get pinged. Right now there is the Worlds tournament that's going on, run by Miko and a bunch of his team running those tournaments. So just to keep the vibes going, I guess, just to keep players engaged. We also have the World Juniors starting up, I think, next week. Yeah, I'm recording this Friday morning. It's September 6th, so I think this starts up Wednesday the 11th. So if you need to become draft eligible, you'll need to play in the World Juniors. So look out for more info on that. And so expansion draft, let me rephrase this. Protection list for expansion. That's the right way to say that. Those lists are due tonight, September 6th. The owners are aware of that. And the reason why I bring this up is because the expansion draft for now is scheduled for next Thursday night, the 12th. So look for another formal announcement on that, but that will probably be next Thursday, the 12th, for the expansion draft. So that'll be myself, Seattle, Viper with Colorado, and Bubba with Calgary. We'll go through that expansion draft process next week. And then in terms of the entry draft, this needs to be put off a little bit because we want to make sure everyone gets draft eligible. So this will likely be October 3rd. Stay tuned for that. I'm not 100% sure if that will remain the same, but just keep an eye out for that. Yeah, so that'll be a little bit later on, just because we need to get everyone draft eligible. And then with that, NHL 25 comes out the next day, October 4th. So we're right around the corner. So in Season 6, we'll pick up right near there. Probably going to start the season October 16th. Preseason, we'll have that preseason week on October 9th. And then we'll get it going. Just some other quick things. Let's see. I'm looking at this. No, that's the big stuff. We have the World's Medal Round. That'll be in a couple weeks, September 18th through the 20th. So that tournament will wrap up on the 20th. And so, yeah, that'll be good. That's all I pretty much have. Yep. If you guys have any questions for me about anything, let me know. I think this will probably be the last one of these videos for a bit. I think there's going to be some new type of content coming out, or new structure, I think, with the media stuff. Yeah, that's all I got. So stay tuned for that. We're going to try and put more AHL emphasis on stuff, especially with AHL owners being a thing now, and we want to make sure that everyone is really involved, you know what I mean? So it's not just all NHL stuff. We want to have stuff for both NHL and AHL. So if you're interested in being part of AHL media, you can let myself or Shiz know, and we can get you in contact with the right people, because I think what's going to happen is that it looks like there might be a little AHL podcast brewing with J-Mo and Pickpockets. So we might do an alternating week type of thing. So we'll figure all that out. Those details will get announced eventually. But yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in over these playoffs. I wanted to just wrap up these playoff recaps. And I'm looking forward to a great offseason. I'm excited to go through all the expansion stuff with Seattle. And so it's going to be awesome. So again, thanks everyone for tuning in throughout these playoffs. And I'll talk to you again soon.